Hey, and welcome to Looks Good From Here, the show where we talk to designers and educators and creative thinkers shaping what the web looks like and what it really takes to get there. I'm Nick from SquareKicker, and with each episode, we go beyond the scroll to uncover the stories and decisions and the messy middle behind beautiful work. And today, I'm chatting with Michael Brodzik, a designer, educator, and course creator, and possibly the busiest man on the internet. Between a full-time job, his roles with side hustles, a massive 72 video design course for SquareKicker, and being one of the SquareKicker template creators, Michael's got more going on than most creative studios together. So we're today going to be talking about building without burning out and finding energy for passion projects and how design and career that fits you goes together. So even if it looks a little bit unconventional, so let's get into it. Hi, Michael. How are you doing, mate?
What's up, Nick? I'm doing great. I'm super pumped to be here, and I can't wait to get into all the things. And I'm not that busy. I don't think I'm that busy.
I could do more. You lie.
I could do more.
So just to list a few. So I'm going to count them in my hands. I'm going to run out of fingers soon. So you're a sixth grade math teacher, what age are they? Because I know in New Zealand we don't have grades.
12.
Cool. 12 years old. Cool.
You don't have grades?
We have years, and so we have 13 years, and so the years and grades get mixed up, and so I'm perpetually confused. So yes, you're a math teacher.
Yep.
You're owner of Vative Creative. You're a template creative with SquareKicker. You're an artist, which we can see some awesome stuff. Every time I talk with you, I feel like there's something new going on behind the scenes. You've got a course called Design Without Limits for teaching people how to use SquareKicker and design. You're a Squarespace circle leader, which I think both of us come on roughly the same time. So that's exciting. You're also a graphic designer for, I believe it's your wife's wedding invitation business. Did I get that correct?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Great. And you love golf, and maybe you love golf, I'm not sure, but you've got some golf clothing, a clothing line for golf, some swag. You've created a product for golf ball cleaners, cleaning golf balls, because that's a unique niche thing that people just need in their lives. And you also play pool, and not like the swimming kind, but like that kind. And you made it to a world championship in Vegas. You also play hockey, and you're launching something called Qube, which is a Squarespace Awards thing coming out, which we'll give you more chance to talk about later on, and a soon-to-be father.
Yeah.
So please tell me again, I lost count.
I don't know how many it is.
Do you have time to do all these side hustles? And probably more specifically, do you even have like a day job, or is your day just all these things mashed together?
Yeah, I don't know how I have the time. And I can kind of talk about how I find the time. That's, I guess, more of the question that should be answered. And then as far as a day job, I definitely do. Like my quote unquote like main job that I spend the most amount of time at is being a sixth grade teacher. My ultimate goal would be to be working, like doing Vative full time, obviously. But I went to college for education. I got a job. It's a very stable job. It is, as many people that are probably listening to the podcast know, like the best part about being a web designer is there's a lot of freedoms that are there. I can do it wherever I want. And the money is good, but there are some times that we have some lulls in that money, and, I still have bills to pay and a family to, provide for. So it's like, and I'm not the only one. My wife works a full-time job. She provides as well. I'm just saying it's like, things have to be paid for. So teaching, I always get paid every 2 weeks. It is, and it can cover bills. So, and then, fighting for invoices and making sure people are paying, and then all of those things. So the goal is to keep continuing to set these things up. And that's where like a lot of the stuff like the course or the templates and all of those things come in, because those are things that I can do. I can set pockets of time away to do them, and then hopefully I can continue to generate income with those things that can help offset some of the teaching stuff. And then all the other things are just like kind of like passions of mine, things that I really love. And so because of that, I always want to try to find time to do them. And just to kind of keep the conversation a little short, is there's like two things that like really impact me. It's funny because I always am like, as a teacher, it's a very female like dominated industry. So like they all have like quotes on their wall, and they're like, to teach us to touch a life forever, and all these things. And I'm like, oh, I just can't with like the quotes like over and over again. They're like, be the nice kid. And it's like, yeah, they know like they should be the nice kid, stuff like that. And it's funny I say that because I'm always the one that like preaches like we should put like other things, like more creative things like in schools, and it doesn't have to always be like schooly, if you know what I mean. But it's funny because I'm going to quote 2 quotes that have actually like changed my life. The first one was when I was in college. I had a professor who, I don't like to read, but he loved to read. And he was like, when I read, I'm always reading 2 books, one book for like a business to learn, to be better. And then one book for me, like a pleasure book, right? Like something that I love, that like I'm interested in. And it doesn't have to be like, it could be a novel, or it could be like, I want to just learn about, you know, the 16th century. Like it doesn't matter. And so he's like, I think that every person should do something to push their, you know, to be successful, to push their business, to push, you know, job, whatever, and then do one thing for yourself. Cool. And then the other thing was when I used to play ice hockey. Now I play deck hockey. When I was younger, much younger, I played ice hockey, traveled, things like that. That was like the sport like me and my brother played. And I had a coach that said like, we're only as good as the worst player on the team. And when he said that was like, he could tell that we weren't practicing our stick handling at home, or we weren't showing up to practice on time or giving our best effort. And it's like, we're only as good as the best version of you that comes. And if you don't give your best version of yourself, like that's it. So like, to me, those are the 2 things, like between that coach and then like my dad was just like, you should just like, nobody's going to give anything to you. So if you don't work for it, then, you know, kind of that. So those are 2 things that like kind of tie in together. And, I just like find the time. I find the time to do the things that I love. And that's really kind of it.
I love it because you're obviously an artist. I can see it in your websites. I can see it in the templates, your course. You love teaching. And so I think the challenge from a lot of creatives is they sometimes have a hard time making money because they're so creative. They've just got so many ideas and they haven't quite figured out how to make those monetize, how to sell them. And so you've actually created a lot of things, but you've also monetized them. You see your templates and of course your design business. So props to you. But I would love to kind of know like where making websites kind of started and how you started making a business kind of creating websites and actually selling them, and maybe even why Squarespace.
Yeah. So started websites because of my artwork. So you can see back here some paintings. And
so cool.
When I've been painting since I was.
Paint that? Did you like that?
I painted that. Yeah, I painted that.
That is insane.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So I painted that. Yeah. Painted like with like a paintbrush and some spray paint and some other stuff. And so I started out from a really young age. I loved art, loved it. Like, my mom was a really big like Walt Disney fan, like loved, like obsessed. Like every year we went to Disney World as like our, like family vacation kind of thing. Like I never went anywhere. My wife makes fun of me because she's like, you were uncultured before you met me. Like now we go all over the place. Like we just want to see other places, and that's great. But my mom was obsessed, and it's great. And I used to be obsessed with the idea that Walt Disney, like he always says, I'm sure you heard the quote, like, hey, I'll start with a mouse, right? And so he just drew like a picture on a napkin, and it's like, this guy was an artist first, and then he created this empire. And so I was always like fascinated that like it was made from like animation and like hand drawing and all that stuff. So I like used to go with her, and I would buy books, and I have a couple books like even on shelves over here of just like old like Disney art books that I would just like practice learning and drawing and drawing and drawing. And then I just became more and more fascinated with like art and painting, and like then I started kind of branching out, and I love like graffiti and like street art and pop art and all these things. And so I kind of wanted to figure out a way to blend that. As I started to get into like high school, I started taking that a little more serious. And then I got into college, and I was like, maybe I could sell, like maybe I am good enough to sell paintings. And so I wanted to try to get into galleries. Now, mind you, this is like 2007, 2008. And Squarespace was a thing. Like some of these things were a thing, but like not like they are now. And it wasn't as like well known and things of that nature. So I kind of reached out to somebody, and I was like, hey, like I need a website. No gallery wants to take a look at my artwork unless I have a website. And I was quoted like $20,000, $30,000. I was like, dude, I'm 17 years old. I can't. And my parents aren't going to pay $20,000 for me to get a website. So that I can like this painting I did in my bedroom. So they encouraged me. And so I just kind of I ended up saving up, bought my first Mac. I learned iWeb to try to teach myself how to make it. And then I learned Dreamweaver, which was obviously more robust than iWeb. And then Then started the boom of like the Squarespace. Wix started really popping up, and I tried Wix. Wix was okay for a little bit, and the problem with I felt like with Wix, and some of the people watching this might laugh, is I feel like Wix is like little boy's first website builder. Like it's like a fish. It's like a Fisher Price toy is what I look at it as. And then Squarespace came out, and their marketing was like for me. You know what I mean? Like the artists, the photographers, the creative. I felt like, you know, a Mac and a Squarespace website. I felt like I was the greatest artist in the entire world.
Yeah.
So I started building websites, and like as you can tell, like I'm obsessed with like design. So I was like constantly like I would be up till 2:00 in the morning just like redesigning my website over and over and over again, starting new trials, trying new things, trying a template, figuring out a little bit of code, things that I learned from here, and like plugging it together. And so that's how I got into Squarespace. And then it literally to like continue the business and making a business was like my uncle needed a website to hit me up. I think I did that for free. And then a friend of mine was starting a business, and he was like, "Guy, a website, like we have some money, I'd love to pay you." I was like, $300. And so I built a website for him for $300. And then I got a teaching job, and then a person there who's a friend of, like a co-teacher, her like daughter went to a dance studio. They needed a website. So she hit me. She was like, "You should talk to this guy. He's really good. He'll give you a good price." I did that website for $800. And then from that moment on, I was like, maybe I can do this. And and every website ever since, like I just was all word of mouth from that one. It's like she told somebody, then she told somebody, then that person told somebody, and everybody is just kind of like came into doing it. And I just knew that like I just had to keep getting better. And so that's kind of how I ended up getting like starting out with like Vative and like working my way to this.
That's I mean, it's a very similar story to most Squarespace creatives is they build a website for themselves and they realize, I can actually do this, and someone else sees it, and then word of mouth spreads, and before you know it, you're a web designer.
Sure.
But I'm curious with like, obviously you had your teaching career here, and you're an artist, and now you've kind of gone into making websites for, you know, people like yourselves and also for clients now. Why the need to also keep adding more side hustles and other side projects that we listed? Is what do these side projects matter to you? Why do you continue to add more things to that list?
I don't ever like so this kind of goes back to that quote. It's like one thing for the business, one thing for myself. Is like I love this, like truly, like I really do like love this. And I think any website designer that's listening to me talk right now will 100% agree, and you as well, probably before you started SquareKicker, because I'm sure you had an agency like before you made websites, right? Before SquareKicker, right? Like there is nothing worse than you're making an exceptional website and then you go and then the person gives you a laundry list of things that absolutely just butcher the website that you just made, and they're like, "Can you make the logo bigger?" And I'm like, "Bro, like what?" You know what I mean? You're just like, "Okay," and you're just like,
logo bigger.
Right, you just butcher every single thing that I did and the whole reason I made it in this beautiful website. Or you make a website and then you hand it off to somebody and then you go back and look at it 3 months later and it's just like terrible. So like my thing is I care so much about the design of things, and like I always like to push myself to the next limit of like, can I be better? Can I learn a new thing? Can I look at somebody else's? So like I've never designed a golf, like I've designed clothing brands before. I've worked like freelance in college for like clothing designers and stuff. So like I loved doing that. So I was like, maybe I can make this for myself. Really, I just like cool things. So like I wanted to make like if I just made like a golf company and like I could have cool like one of a kind golf merch when I play, and then I can like make 10 of them and tell them to my friends or buddies and like profit on it, like great. And then I can tell my wife that I'm working but when I'm golfing. But the idea is like
for the family, babes, for the family, gotta do these things.
Right, it's just like for me, like I know it sounds weird, but it's just like for me. And then I always just like try to figure out a way, like, can I make money on this? Can I make this a full-time thing? Can I somehow make it so that because what I love more than anything is creating, and that's so different than being a teacher. Is like, how can I add all of these things that I can manage, that I'm actually passionate about, that I actually truly love, and somehow make it so that I can do this full-time, so that I can be creating all the time. And that's just kind of why it's just like, I kind of just do them for me because I love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But if you obviously have a lot going on, I mean, for being just a web designer can be a full-time job. It's pretty full on, but you have a full-time job, and then you have this as your side hustle, plus all these other side hustles. And there's probably varying degrees of how much time all these things take away from you, and these things you do. But how do you then manage your time and energy? Like, do you just not sleep? Is that the trick? Like, what advice can you give people?
I love my sleep. I sleep.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but I sleep. So pretty much I'll just run it through real quick. Like I'm very much just about like, and the most important thing, and I want to reiterate this, like the most important thing out of all of this is like finding time for my wife and my family, especially now that I'm about to be a dad. Like that's very, very, very important to me, and making sure that she is feeling like I'm paying attention to her too, because that is very, very important.
Yeah.
And I think anybody listening is like super important. Like don't forget, like all of this is meaningless. Like that's like truly the most important thing. So what I try to do is like obviously Monday through Friday I teach. I wake up, I leave here at like 6, and then I come home. Good thing about teaching, really good thing about teaching is I'm done work around like 2:20. So right around 2:20 is I'm done work. So I have plenty of time to like the rest of the day. Another good thing about teaching is if I don't have immediate things to do for that job, like I have a prep period, which is 45 minutes. I send a lot of emails then. And then I also have a lunch period, and I just eat by myself, and I kind of, not every day, but I try to eat by myself, and I kind of do some minor stuff. So if I'm doing maintenance plan for a website, or if I'm, got to upload or change some stuff, I can do that in that 45-minute like window. Then I come home, and I kind of, depending on what the day is, determine what I'm working on. So, Vative is the one that takes up the most amount of time. So I work on Vative, and I try to set some specific stuff. So if it's like SEO, I normally do SEO work on Wednesdays. If I do, because I have a person that I work with and we kind of do like meetings, do that stuff. And then Monday and Tuesdays, I try to do anything that is client related. So build a website or work on like maintenance plans, things of that nature. Thursday is tying up any loose ends from the other two things in terms of the business. And then Friday is, I try to give Friday be the day that I work on the business or I work on an outside thing. So if I want to work on like the course, I'll do Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If it's a big project, like the course was like a big project. So I'd be like, I would tell my wife like, all right, I'm going to wake up at 6 a.m. and I'm going to record videos till noon, and then I'll stop or whatever. So I'll like set that schedule to know. But I try to do any of those like extra things I do on like Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, which, that's what I just try to do. And obviously that's not every weekend. Some days we're doing things. And then at least once or twice a week, I try to go out to dinner and take a break. And then like I put my phone away to spend quality time with my wife. And then as far as like sports, so like hockey and like golf and all that stuff, I try to do at least once a week, because that's like activity. Like that's like me working out. So like when I golf, I try to I'll walk like 6 miles by golfing. And then hockey, I can run and get some activity in there. So hockey takes up about 2 hours a week. And then golf is about 4 hours a week. So like I can kind of squeeze those in. And then, I just feel like if you want it, like if you want to do it, you'll find the time. And that's the way it is like, I could sit here and make the excuse and be like, well, I came home, my head hurts. Like, well, yep, your head hurt. Or I'm really tired, I'm taking a nap. It's like, well, I want to design things and make things more than I want to take a nap. And that's just the way it goes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I feel like the secret that I'm actually learning from you here is when you have that much going on, you just literally have just run through your week, not even like how do you structure things, but you have a structure. You said at 6 o'clock, I'm going to school, I'm home at this time, and then Tuesday and then Thursday, you went through your entire week and you already have like mapped out what your week looks like. And I feel like for you, and what I'm thinking maybe advice for other people is actually having a bit of a plan. And then, I mean, artists get the bad rep that they're just not structured. Like they're kind of all over the place and they kind of have no rhythm to their lives. And I'm a bit like that, where I just kind of go with the flow. Like I wake up today and going, what do I feel like doing today? And I don't really have much of a plan. And the meetings I have, like this one today, is obviously my calendar. But after this, I kind of have some things I hope to do, but I don't have nearly as much structure as you have around that. And I think it's a cool discipline that you've created for yourself, and probably makes a whole lot of sense now how you can do all these things when you have that routine in your life. So that's pretty cool. But when you have all those things, I'm sure you get to a point where you are feeling tired, as much as you probably say that you love sleep, but also you rather paint than sleep or paint than rest, whatever how do you manage getting to a place so you don't burn out then? Do you ever get to a point where you're like, I'm actually doing too much, I should drop that or change or pivot on not doing as much because I don't want to burn out with your energy levels?
No, I've never felt burnout ever. Not one time. I know that sounds like so crazy, and people are probably wondering. It's like, actually, to be honest with you, it's the opposite, like opposite burnout. One time I was sitting on the beach with my wife because that's what she wanted to do. I also just want to say real quick, 2 seconds, is I am very much a go with the flow person. Like the reason, like I am very go with the flow. Like you're saying, like, well, I could just do whatever. I could go do this, whatever. My thing is, I had to learn to structure it because it ends up making me do the things that I like doing. So that was just the only way I could fit it in. otherwise I would never get to do anything. So that's just, but I am very much like, if she came down right now and was like, after this call, we're going to do something, like, okay. And then I'll maneuver something to figure that out. You know what I mean? So I can do both. But the idea is, I was sitting on a beach one time, I'll never forget this. And my wife and like a bunch of people, they were talking about like anxiety. And I was like, I don't really have anxiety. Like, I just don't really worry about stuff. And they were talking about like money maybe or something. And I was like, I don't know. I just look at life like I have money I haven't made yet. Why am I worried about it? Why am I worried about that? I was like, what's worrying me right now is I'm sitting on this beach doing nothing, and I could be building a website, or I could be playing golf, or I could be like, I'm just doing nothing. And so I have the complete opposite like mindset where I'm just like, I want to do more. And to be honest with you, to really answer your question, what helps me not burn out is doing those things that I am passionate about. Like, it's almost like if I pay into I got to build this website for a client that I might not love, but it's going to pay me a bill. Like, that is I put that into like my reward bucket. And that means that I can go build a template where nobody is telling me what to do, and I can be fully creative, or I can go come up with this idea and I can build that, or I can go play a round of golf, or I can go play hockey, or I can paint a picture because I've put this in here, and then I get rewarded by doing something else that like I truly love to do. And so that is like kind of my like mentality, is like pay it in, and then the burnout stops because I'm doing something else that I really love. And so I don't really have a burnout.
Yeah, I'm getting the picture. Like, if someone is listening to this and maybe struggling with that burnout, maybe looking at their lives and seeing what kind of things are they doing that gives them life, or gives them energy. And I think I can relate to that degree. If I'm ever in a position where I've just got so much energy, but I'm so busy all the time, it's because I'm doing all the things that I actually love doing.
Yeah,
I love being with people, but if I'm stuck behind a computer writing emails, pretty quickly, I'm not excited about my day and what my days look like. And so actually being with people, being around a team, like, that's what I love about when I kind of got into making websites for people. Originally, when I was a small kid, I thought I loved playing video games. I'm going to figure out how to make games for a living, because that sounds like fun. And then I found, I think it was a Barnes & Noble when they existed, physical stores. You went into it.
We have them here. I don't know if you have them.
They still exist. I got a book on programming. I was like, oh, that's what making video games is like. And I just imagined myself with like a long beard in a cave coding one day. And I was like, oh, I would hate my life. And so I put that book away and was like, how do I find my time spending with people? Because that's what I really am passionate about. And I got involved in youth work. And that was kind of majority of my life up to, in the last 10 years has been youth work related, and wasn't something that I wanted to do was go back into website making, but I just would love being creative. And when I figured out that I can actually be with people and make websites, because I worked with clients and I loved working with people to discover their passions, their job, their hobbies, and actually that gave me life. And it was, now I have to build a website now. Like, I just wanted to spend time with the people dreaming, and then building the thing and showing them like, now you can do these things. And it's a rewarding thing when you have a client who says, we've had the best Christmas all our entire career because of the website you've made. And that allowed me to go, this is actually worth spending the time doing that. And when I was thinking about that last piece is, do I want to be building a business, or do I want to be building like a company, like a team? And when I thought about hiring the first person, I thought, I actually want to be with people. Like, I want to work with people around me, not just make the creative stuff. And that's what kind of SquareKicker is structured in the way it is today, is actually being around people. I think helps my creativity, but also just the energy around that. And I think it doesn't work for everyone, but obviously because it suited my personality, being in a team. And I think it's really become aware that actually, if you want to go fast, go alone. Get the stuff done. You don't need to talk to anyone else to get it done. But if you want to go far, go together. So for me, that's really resonated. But I just want to transition into, before we do that next segment, I want to ask, do you have like a dream career? Like you said earlier, Vative creative, but like, where do all these other pieces fit in? Like, if you could think about the future of your business and your kind of lifestyle, your week and your structure, like, what does that kind of dream look like? What are you shooting for one day?
Honestly, I mean, I don't know. I don't know, because like, I am a very much like I'm not a Steve Jobs. I'm not a I know where the technology world's like. I know I can see the future, and that's what made him so good. Like, this is where it's going, right? Or the Wayne Gretzky, right? Past where the puck's gonna be where the puck's gonna be, like not where the puck's at. I'm a very much I'm here. To be honest with you, I think my goal in life is to just like be like financially stable to the point where I can support my wife and then my son that's coming, and then probably have another kid or something. And I want to be able to be flexible. So like I want to be able to not miss like, a baseball game or a hockey game, or not miss a parent teacher conference, or miss I don't want to be, the dad's not present. Like I want to be able to be like, I can be at whatever I want because I can work whenever I want. Like that's what I want. Like I want to be able to be like, you want to go to Barbados? We'll go to Barbados and I'll bring my laptop and I can get something done, and I can make sure that we're getting paid and things are getting, you know what I mean? Like I just want the freedom to know that I'm doing it. I also agree very much with you of like growing a team. That's for sure a vision of mine. Like I want to have a team. I want to inspire other people around me. I want to bring, like, I'm very much about like, I love talking to you because I think that you're smarter than me in not everything, but hold on. I know that this sounds, but for sure in coding and in like a lot of it, like you're a very intelligent person, like talking to you. So I'm like, I feel like I'm getting better when I talk to you. Right. So like, I want to be surrounded by people that, and there's a lot of people in the community, I feel like that, like talking to Henry, talking to Sam, talking to Christy, talking to, and I don't want to not name people, but like there's so many people that, you know what I mean? Like infinite amount of people's that like when I talk to them, I'm like, you're making me better by being around you, listening to talk. And like, I want to hire people that are better than me at things so that I can learn, and I'm constantly learning, constantly better. And yeah, that's my ultimate goal. But like, as far as like, what is my dream job? Like freedom of just being able to do whatever I want when I want to do it, and like work when I want and things like that.
Yeah, that's why I really appreciate your kindness towards smart. But I think the reality is I'm probably in the same boat. I've tried to find people around me who are smarter than me and actually hire them. But actually having confidence and self-belief, it doesn't mean you throw yourself under the bus, but realizing what your strengths are. And I think that's what I've realized recently is I understand my strengths and actually lean on those. And then when people say that, I'm smart or really brilliant or whatever, it's actually because I'm just being confident. Like I know the things I'm good at doing, and I can be confident in that. And that's not something being arrogant. That's just, you're not using kind of false pride, but actually being able to be honoring the things that you're good at doing, but then being equally knowledgeable and knowing what you're not good at doing, and when you need to actually trust someone else to do those things and admit that actually they're better at doing that than me. And so Hannah and I, who are married, co-founders, business partners, we have learned the journey for about 16 years, 17 years, I think it's been. I keep losing count. Like every year it keeps changing on me. But knowing what she's better at than I am, and actually I need to stop trying to do the things I know she's better, and likewise. So I think when we can learn to trust the people around us, but being really confident of the things when you're doing, I think that's a huge strength.
For sure.
Cool. So that's exciting. And I'm actually really interested to hear how this journey progresses when you become a father, and actually what your time turns into. And I know with someone who's got 3 kids, they're now 10, 12, and 14. They're getting a lot older. It's actually getting easier now that they're getting older because they're a bit more independent. Like my son is on a bike now, and he loves road biking. So he might just disappear for a few hours and he'll do 100K on his bike. And we just track him on GPS. But we have a different level of kind of parenting. It's not like this every single day you're at there making sure they get fed and they put their clothes on and they get them to the next place and they have a sleep. It's very busy in the early years. So I'd love to get you back on and hear about what your career looks like after you have kids. I'm not saying all parents around you're going to be like, I told you so. You can't sleep.
Oh no, I know.
It will be different. It'll be different.
It'll be different. Yeah. The best part is like, I already really like, to be honest with you, I think the thing I'm the least worried about is the sleep. I already sleep. I already don't go to bed till like 1 a.m. anyway. So that doesn't really matter to me. I mean, it just stinks because I will be waking up more. I'm already getting not enough, and eventually it does catch up to me, but that's fine. It's going to be hard, but I think that it's just about finding the time, communicating that as best I can with my wife. And then, if some aside things have to take a little bit of a break, then they do. And, I'll figure it out. It'll be all right. I always do.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. And when did you say they were due again?
July
5th
5th is the expected due date. Yeah.
That's great. I'll look forward to hearing back around that time. And I think around Circle Day is usually the time and that we catch up. So I'll look forward to catching up to some more stories and seeing how life is.
Oh, for sure. And great. Some actual pictures. That'll be
some
cool.
actual pictures. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
All right. So this next part of this segment, we're going to run into kind of something we do with everyone. So we're going to shift through and ask you just kind of a few questions and just kind of get a little bit more behind the scenes. So I love getting a chance to kind of interview people like yourself, because from Instagram, from far away, you know, it just looks good from here, right? But we just kind of dive in and just see a little bit more stuff, what's going on in detail. But if you can just share as well, just from those broad perspectives, a little bit about your site. So maybe you can show us your site and just kind of show us a bit about what your Vative Creative looks like and insight into the things that you're doing.
Yeah. So here's my website. And very much into like trying to find something that's clean, that's easy to read, that kind of matches my style there. And then I also really much love like playing with movement, playing with like layout, things like that. Some plugins and stuff that I've, you know, gotten some from some awesome creators here. And then obviously SquareKicker I use for every single website I have. And you could just see like, you know, I just try to make it as interactive as possible, but still like clean and functional. Again, just like how can I take a layout that's like really like,
Beautiful.
you know, normal, like, you know, like it's just a typical layout, but like how can we maybe spruce it up a little bit, maybe give it a little bit more flair. And then obviously I love playing with like movement and creating things like this with,
I
and
love
this
the
is
way you
100
use SquareKicker. It's every time I see something you make, how did he do that again?
Yeah. So SquareKicker is, what I love about SquareKicker, and I think I might be your biggest fanboy, is what I love about it is like, if it's like the idea creator for me, because like if I have an idea, I can try it in like seconds and I don't have to code anything. And then if it doesn't work, it just doesn't work, and I didn't have to waste hours trying to code it. So this is really cool. And then I always love like hiding little things in my websites. Like if you hover over my head, there's a little picture of me. You know, and so things like that. Love having like accolades and things of that nature. Some animation. This is actually really cool. So I guess I didn't even list this, but like I wanted to learn how to do motion graphics, so I just taught myself motion graphics, and so that's how this came, and that's how like, you know, these things came and stuff. And so I found a website that does them, and I just kind of used their templates and like learned what other motion graphic creators did, and then I just kind of implemented them myself. Here's a cool little, you know, journey of like our templates that I made and like how it can like look differently.
Those are changing on scroll because of SquareKicker, right? Like each one of those is a new image.
Yeah, and what's so cool is it's like the easiest thing to do. It's all set on a custom timeline, so each one starts, the first one, so this is the first one. Yeah, that's the first one, is full opacity, and then each one pops in at a trigger point. So the first one there, so it just goes from 0 opacity to 100% opacity and ends at 100% because the next one will trigger over top, so it doesn't matter. And it just is, I don't know, 5 minutes, literally 5 minutes. You can learn how to do it. Yo, SquareKicker, Design Without Limits course, you can learn how to do it. I teach you. Yeah, there you go. Little plug in there. And so, yeah, so I just kind of like to figure out ways I can add some movement, but also be functional as like, you know, this little exploding thing of all I do. And then, yeah, I just kind of do that. I'll just show 2 more things that I really, really, really love.
Yeah.
This is my favorite, one of my literally favorite things that I've ever made on SquareKicker, which is this.
It's so fun. You know how long I've tried to code something like that before in the past with using like some JavaScript animation? It is not an easy thing to code.
Yeah. So what I just did was same thing as the template one.
Yeah, just a lot of images kind of coming and going.
Yep. So I just drew the image out. I just drew the stop motion. You can see like the stop motion animation on, and like I told you, this goes back to the Walt Disney thing. Like I was obsessed with stop motion animation when I was a kid. So I wanted to learn how to do that when I was little. And so I was like, how can I implement this into SquareKicker? And so what I did was everyone just triggers on scroll at a specific spot in a custom timeline, and it just triggers it, and it comes out really, really smooth because it's just like stop motion. It's smooth, so that's really cool.
Coming out of a website and then into another website. Like,
yeah, so it's like an email. Like I'm an email blast into your website. You know, that's the idea. That one's really cool. And then the reverse of the bottom one, this was cool. This is also another thing. This took me a bit because of the custom timeline, but having these like all of these things in your SEO plan, like that was a lot of fun. And then I think that's the only other really good one that I have on the website that I think is like really, like this is pretty cool too, just kind of having it pop in. So I just kind of, if I can have like my goal, and I talk about this in the course, is like I think a lot of people overdo it sometimes with scrolling effects and things of that nature. And it's just like, to me, is like, if it's not going to make an impact, then I don't want to necessarily like do it. But I just think if you can do things like that, it's really good. Also, if Squarespace is watching, can we just get some customization to the navigation so I don't have to do insane amount of code? Oh, and then that's pretty cool is like whenever you go to the page, I coded in this loading screen of me like walking. I don't know. It's just a little loading screen. I actually got the idea from your SquareKicker site with the SquareKicker loading. Yeah.
Yes, well, it was something that we actually wanted to make someday, so it's still something on our roadmap that hasn't been released yet, but it's definitely a feature that gets requested often.
Which is what, navigation or loading?
The loading animation, yeah.
Oh, yeah. But then you got to upload them, right? So I don't know how that would.
Well, you have to... We'll find some cool ways of making it work.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, can't wait to see what you do.
We got some really fun stuff on the timeline for this year, so
I can't wait.
Looking forward. And if you're a beta user, which I think you are, because you're a designer plan, you've already had a chance to play with one of them that's coming out pretty soon.
Yep.
So
yeah, and it's awesome. I'm glad I got it because I can start adding it to the course.
Yeah, nice. Awesome. So if you wanted to we'll pop that screen off. Then we'll chuck the next one. The next question I have for you is tell us about a time. This is where our deep confessions part of this interview goes. Tell us about a time when maybe things didn't go to plan. You know, obviously things are amazing, rosy. You know, nothing ever touches us when we're on Instagram. But behind the scenes, what's a mistake or a misstep or a big learning curve that you might have had that you can maybe laugh about now, but at the time it wasn't very fun?
I don't have those.
You don't?
No, I'm just kidding. No, no, absolutely not. There was a client, I don't want to necessarily say her name, but so I do a lot of health and wellness, like they're just who gets like sent to me, and it's cool. Like they're great. A lot of them are startups or they've been doing it for a while, and I have a lot of health and wellness. And somebody like reached out to me and they were like, "Love your websites, love what you do, love your work. These people say you're great, blah 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 blah." And I couldn't just, I just, you know, it was a dentist. He reached out to me. He's like, "I love your stuff." And what was even cooler about the project was he was like, "I don't want like a blue dentist website with like teeth on it. Like I want like, I'm really big into art." He's like, "I have like all these, like I just redid my whole entire office. I have all these, I have a Calder painting and I have this person painting and this person." I'm like, "Whoa, like this is," I'm like, "You have a Calder painting in your office? It's like $1 million painting. Like, what are we talking about here?" And I was like, "This is awesome." And he's like, "I want like my dentist website to look like a art gallery where it says like," and like I said, I'm not gonna say the name, but like this company name, like in the city, and like I want it to look like. And I was like, "Yo, let me get this. Like, let me get this website now. I'm an artist myself. Like, that's how I started. Like, this is gonna be a great fit." And man, was it not? It was just like he was super. Like it just everything I was doing, just it wasn't clicking. It wasn't like I was like, I think I was over designing in some cases. The communication was pretty bad. I could have probably been a little bit better. And to be honest with you, we ended up just, I think it got so bad that we just stopped communicating to each other completely. And, you know, I got paid a deposit, which was fine. But yeah, it was just really frustrating. I really did think that was going to be a good fit with the background and all that stuff. And it just wasn't a good fit. And, you know, I learned that like, just because something sounds really good, or it could be like, I could have probably like, you know, courted some more questions and maybe been a little bit more proactive on some stuff and things like that. But yeah, that just ended up going really south. And I think that was like one of two websites I've built that I just didn't even end up finishing. And it just kind of like faded. That was pretty bad.
So it never actually finish the website. You just kind of you separated. Yeah. Right.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing. I know sometimes the vulnerable moments when you think, nothing's perfect, but you know, we always have those
pretty
moments.
brutal. Yeah, that was pretty brutal.
This next one is called Off the Grid. So what's one thing outside of your work and design that actually helps you stay creative? I mean, obviously you listed a whole bunch of stuff that you do, but is there something that one of those actually helps you stay creative, or is it just being creative all the time that keeps you creative?
I'm going to say golf straight up.
Golf.
And the reason I say golf is because it's the one thing that I can do in my life that I don't think about creating.
Wow. Okay.
So it's like almost the opposite. Like I guess you would assume that like more things that would get you inspired is other things that are inspiring, but I like immerse myself in that all the time. So much so that sometimes I'm like, it's like kind of content overload. And so when I golf, it is literally no joke, the one thing that when I am doing it, I don't think about anything but golf. And that's the first thing in my life that I've ever done. Like if I play sport, like I play hockey, or I'm on the bench of a hockey game or lacrosse, or I'm at the gym, or I'm running, or even hanging out with my wife, driving a car to the grocery store. Like I will start thinking about designing thing. I'll think of the next thing. I'll be like, it just keeps coming all of the time. Golf is the only thing that when I do it is like, I'm like doing this thing that's really difficult and it's really hard, and all I have to think about is the next shot or the next hole, or how do I attack this next thing, and I can only think about that. And so when I do that, I kind of like giving myself like a break, and it kind of really helps me a lot, actually.
Yeah, I think the thing to hear there is, what can you do that's actually going to make you think about something else apart from being creative? So you have your brain to rest, so you have the energy to go back into it.
Yeah.
It's really giving yourself some downtime. Cool. So we'll leave you with a couple of things to finish off with. I want to be able to give you a chance to share about your templates, because I know you shared your website, but I just want to share a little bit of a sneak peek about you as your creator for SquareKicker. So here's a little website about you and about your blurb that's on the SquareKicker store, and also you have some lovely templates here. Did you want to tell us what it was like to actually start this journey of being a creator? I think you were one of the first creators to get onboarded, and you've got some pretty awesome templates here. I'm really enjoying the work that you get a chance of doing. What's it been like for you as a creative to kind of be on the store and make templates?
Love it. It's awesome. First of all, and I've said this to you before, but I'll say it again, is thank you for even letting me be a template creator. Because it truly is an honor to be on a platform like this, and also just be alongside of some of absolutely incredible designers as well. It's just really nice to be able to see that. What I love the most is, like I said, is like, this is that, like, I get to design the website for me. I get to design the website in like, if you look at my templates, they're all different. Like none of them look like any of the other one. And so it's really cool. Like the Poor Decisions website, for example, is like, it doesn't look like any website that I've ever even built. So I was like, I want to make something, and I want to challenge myself to build a website that like I've never built before. And so like, even if, it doesn't sell that well. I mean, obviously I want it to sell, but like the idea is like, I just want to like, can I learn, even if it doesn't sell, can I learn something from this, right? Can I learn how to do something? Can I speak to something? Can I use this in a portfolio for somebody else later? It's things like that just make, trying to figure out, like, push myself to the next level of design and kind of doing all that stuff. And then even just like everything on there, I designed everything. So like the beer one, like I designed the cans, I designed so it's just, to me, this one's cool because it had a horizontal scroll and a vertical scroll web homepage. And so, I just try to like, what I want to do is like, do I like this? Can I push myself to learn something new, and push my design skills to the next level in any way? That's I just love doing it, and the fact that I can make money doing it also is really, really awesome. But it really just lets me like be super creative. I actually have like 3 or 4 templates I'm working on right now that I just kind of like chip away at. One of them is like super crazy, so I'm pretty excited to launch that one. Yeah,
I think the whole office gets excited when people submit templates, but especially when something comes in from Michael, we're like, what did he do this time? Like, what crazy magic that he made with SquareKicker that we've never heard of?
Dude, I have some that I'll have to like schedule a call with you whenever you're not like crazy busy, that like I found by doing the course that are like definitely 100% bugs in SquareKicker that make really cool things. And I'm like, no. Like I literally say, like, I'm like, if SquareKicker's watching this, don't fix this, because this is really cool.
That's
like,
funny.
don't fix it. I was like, they're gonna fix it, but like, don't fix it, because this is like, you're gonna look at it and be like, how did you do that? And it's like, oh, there's an error here. And that's how this works. It's like there's this like really cool masking effect with like scroll effects where like it disappears some of the thing and it like gets masked away, but it looks really, really cool. And I'm like, please don't ever get rid of this.
I know what you mean now. That's when you have a border around the block.
Correct.
And actually mask the border. Yeah. That's kind of intentional but unintentional at the same time. So yeah.
I say leave it. Don't ever change it, because I love it. It's awesome.
Yeah. Scrolling effect is a very cool thing. We have some more things in store to make it more powerful. So
even better. Cool. Can't wait.
Doing that. In fact, our developer team and our creative team has actually watched some of your course just to give you some feedback, and we actually learned quite a bit from you. And I think the developers were watching it going, I didn't know you could do that. And they're like, oh, that's a bug. And they literally on the same day had fixed and released a bug that you were pulling up on the course. So
that's awesome.
It was
great.
Awesome. It was fun watching that.
That's really cool.
But yeah, so the other thing I wanted to give you a chance to shout out about is about the Qube Awards. This is something that's you've been bringing up and you kind of just thought about it, and I'm not even sure in the downtime of your lives. And yeah, do you want to share a little bit about this?
Yeah. So I'll make this quick.
Which, by the way, we're super proud to be a title sponsor for Qube Awards. So we want to give you all the love. So we're looking forward to this all coming out and being a part of it as well.
Yeah. So Qube came from the idea of, this is all just so anybody's seen this is like super early. You're kind of seeing an unfinished version of the website, but I think that anybody that's like, if you're starting out, you probably don't know this, but people that have been doing websites for a while kind of know, like, you look at something like awards.com, like, and by that I mean like ARDS, like awards.com, and it's like a very big website where people go on and post websites and they submit them and they win awards. Obviously, that's the title. And then I'm like, I was learning Framer and I've dabbled with like Webflow and all this stuff. And like, if you look at like some of these content creators on YouTube and stuff that make, Squarespace content, that the followers tend to be low, the views tend to be low, and they're like, and Becca's pretty big, and like David Alex, I think is his name, he's pretty big, and like Sam's obviously big, and like Christy, and then Paige is big, but even like Paige and like those people that I just named that are like pretty well known, like they don't even dent some of these Webflow like content creators. They don't even dent some of these Framer, and Framer's fairly rare, like really new compared to Squarespace and Webflow. And Webflow is even newer than Squarespace. And it just seems like there's this like weird like stigma around Squarespace websites that like they're not as good, or like they look a certain way, or that they're only based on templates. And I don't blame Squarespace any minute. Like, that's their business model. They make their money off of people selling, like people coming in, getting a template, making their website live. Like, that's their business model. I get it. I'm not knocking it, but like to me, there's so many, like Squarespace is so powerful. You can make incredible websites. The platform itself is so good. It's so nice to be able to just go on and like have a one-stop shop for everything. Like you could do invoicing, you could do scheduling. And now I'm not saying it's the best version of all of that, but for a lot of businesses, what they offer is really good in my opinion. And so I think, I don't know if you've heard of it, like Site of Sites. I submitted my website to Site of Sites. They don't even have a drop down for like what platform. Squarespace isn't even listed as a platform you can drop down. So I felt like Squarespace is missing this like idea of like, can we give out awards? Can we like, can I create a place that you can go and be like, oh, no, there are incredible built, like amazing websites for Squarespace. And so that's how I came up with the idea for the awards. And like, who doesn't like getting an award? Who doesn't like getting like giving back? And like, it feels nice, like to be able to put something in like on your wall, or how to sit on your desk, or just to be able to put on your website, like, I won an award for my quality of design. And to some people that is meaningless. Like, and I've discussed a lot of people that are like, I'm not really like, that doesn't really matter to me. But then there are other people that are like, this, yeah, obviously I want to try to get this. So that's where it's kind of like a little bit of in between. So, I kind of, got some SquareKicker things on here, and some websites for some people that I've talked to that are, cool with me, like just testing it for a while. I'm sending it out to people. And so the idea is like some nominated websites. So this is that masking effect I was talking about with the text coming out, and then like some hover effects and stuff, just to kind of like show like this is what you can do with the website. And then some other stuff, like I don't want it to just be like an awards website, but I also want it to be like a place where you can go and find a course, you can go and find the template store, you can go find a template, you can go find a plugin, or even just the designer that you're looking for, and like somebody can go somewhere and be like, I'm getting this because Squarespace is an exceptional platform. And it all ties back, like the idea is like, it's all about the design awards. And that goes back to what I was saying before. Like, it's all about, in my opinion, it's like all about good design. Like, if you make really good websites that look really good, that are really well made, the business will come. Like, there's so much about like keeping it in this certain structure, but it's like, sometimes the structure is really great for some things, but sometimes it's about that experience. How can we, and I think there's a good level of like, how can we blend both of those? Right. Yeah. And so that's why I made this. And so, it's really cool. It was a lot of fun to like come up with these ideas. And the goal is, and like you were saying, we have a jury. I'll talk about this quickly. I have a jury. The jury is fully volunteered. Nick volunteered to be a jury on the jury, which is great. And it's fully volunteer. And the reason I like this is because nobody's paid, and you know exactly who it is. And each year I'm going to rotate the jury out. So it's not just like my design style, or your design style, or Christy's design style, or Yawande's design style. It's like, everybody has their own style and they're going to like a specific type of website. They might vote one higher. Somebody get a chance of winning an award that maybe if it's the same. Whereas like one of the problems I have with awards, I submitted to them and you don't know who their jury is. I had a bunch of people vote for my thing, but they were like, you didn't have enough and you didn't have enough high enough score because our jury. And I'm like, well, who's your jury? Like, I just don't really understand. So these are people that are known in the industry that make great websites, make great Squarespace websites alone. And so I want them to be like front and center. And then the sponsoring aspect, like you were saying, a title sponsor is what's really great is all of these things here is I'm going to take that money and I want to give it back to the people that win. So like, it's about like giving out information, like giving back to them, getting an award that they can put on their thing, giving them some, like, obviously I don't expect the first year to make a lot, but if I can start raising money and you know, giving money like a prize, like you made a great website, you probably got paid for that, whether it's your own or a client website, and now you're getting awarded and you're getting a little bit of extra money and like I'm supporting you, like it's great. And then what's cool is to submit a website. I think it's going to be like about $5 to submit a website, and then I'm going to have like bundles, so you can do 2 websites for like $8, I think, and then like 3 websites for like something, I don't know, like, you know, like find a detail, like a deal so they can submit websites. And I'm going to take that money as well and also put it back into giving back some money for the awards for whoever wins at the end of the year. And what'll be great is like, you'll be incentivized to submit your websites because you know that like $5 isn't a lot of money, but at least you know like it's going back to creators of doing what we're doing. So it's really cool. Everybody that I've talked to seems to really, really like the idea. They're all on board. They think it's awesome. Every person I've asked to join like the jury and stuff, we're like, this is great. Like, yeah, I want to give back. And what's cool is like a lot of these people are also very busy, just like me, and they're offering up their time, trying to find some time to be able to, you know, put some more credit on what we do. And I think that's just that to me is just worth it in general.
Yep. It's great. I just think this is so cool. Again, we want to obviously be part of it because this is something that you said is missing maybe in the Squarespace community. And I think I heard someone say who was a designer to their client, no, you can't do that because Squarespace, you just get a square website. Like it's just pretty bland. It's simple. And I was like, oh, but it could be so much more. And I think you showcasing that really highlights it for Squarespace, but also for the designers who can show their clients like, hey, look, this is the kind of stuff you can do on Squarespace. It's not just for your mom and pop shops, your DIY sites. It's a powerhouse, or at least it really can be, especially when you're using some cool tools. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
I just briefly, I just forgot about it. It's like, it's not just about awards for websites. Like I also have community awards. So like some people are really big in Squarespace and they make plugins or they make templates. And so like, I want to give back to them as well. So like you make a really good template and they can get, and it could be a SquareKicker template, but it can also just be a template of their own shop. That's fine. And then like, you know, who's making the best content on YouTube about Squarespace? Like, you know, like that could be an award like Becca wins or whoever, you know, I'm just saying who knows who's actually going to win. That's going to be based on voting. But the idea is I want to give back, like just because you don't make a lot of websites doesn't mean that you can't win an award and feel like, you know, like, I know it stinks, but like we all like getting awards. We all like holding up that trophy. We all like winning. And so like, not everybody, some people don't care and that's fine. But I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be something that's really impacting. And I would love, I doubt that this would happen, but it'd be really cool if I could get Squarespace on board and I can announce Qube winners at Circle Day. That would be sick, but who knows if that'll ever actually happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is why you're a community leader, Michael, because you're bringing people together and you're helping to empower the community and the circle designers, especially. So yeah. So thanks so much for putting that on. That's really cool. Thanks everybody for joining us on Looks Good From Here, and we hope you've enjoyed a peek behind the pixels. And you can find more links to Michael's work in the description below, and don't forget to subscribe to find more conversations with other creators shaping life online. So great. We'll see you next time. Thanks again, Michael.
Nick, thank you so much for having me. I'd love to do it again if you want to have me at a different time. Talk about something else. I'm about it.
Correct.
Thank you.
See you then.